Hi there. Welcome to this English listening practice podcast. I'm really glad you are here today. This podcast is designed to help you understand everyday English and feel more confident speaking it. Everything you hear here is natural, casual English, the kind people actually use in daily life. I want you to imagine that I am talking directly to you. You don't need to worry about making mistakes or understanding everything at once. Listening is the first step. When you hear these phrases again and again, you will start to notice words and patterns that you didn't catch the first time. That's completely normal. You will hear short conversations, common questions, and responses you might use in real life. I will also show you different ways people say the same thing. For example, when you ask for help, someone might say, "Can you help me?" or "Could you give me a hand?" Both are natural, but one might feel easier to say in daily situations. The key here is repetition. Listen to each block as many times as you can. Try to repeat the phrases quietly to yourself, almost like shadowing my voice. This helps you train your ear, your pronunciation, and your confidence. At first, you might feel it's hard to remember everything, and that's okay. Every time you listen, you will notice small improvements. Remember, learning English is like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your understanding and speaking will become. Even if you just repeat a few phrases each time, that is progress. Celebrate the small victories. Every word you understand and every phrase you say is a step forward. So get comfortable, maybe grab a notebook if you like, but mostly just relax and listen. Don't worry about understanding every word. Focus on hearing the rhythm, the flow, and the way people actually speak. The more you expose yourself to English like this, the easier it will become. Keep listening, keep repeating, and most importantly, don't give up. You are doing something very important for your English. With patience and practice, you will notice real progress. And now, let's start with our first real-life situation, where we practice simple phrases for everyday conversations. Imagine you are walking into a small cafe on a normal day. You feel a little hungry, or maybe you just want something warm to drink. This is a very common situation, and it's a great place to practice English. You don't need to know complicated grammar or big words. What really matters here is using simple, natural phrases that people use every day. You step inside and you see the counter. The person behind the counter looks at you, ready to take your order. In this moment, the most natural way to start is very simple. You can say, "Hi, can I get a coffee, please?" This is short, friendly, and polite. People in cafes hear this phrase all the time, so it sounds completely natural. There are also other ways to say the same thing. You might hear people say, "Could I have a coffee, please?" or "I'd like a coffee, please." All of these are correct. But notice "How can I get a coffee?" Sounds a little more relaxed and common in everyday life. The other versions are also good, but they feel a little more formal or careful, like something you might hear in a classroom or in a polite restaurant. Now, maybe you don't want just coffee. Imagine you want a cappuccino. Then you can say, "Hi, can I get a cappuccino, please?" Or, more casually, some people just say, "Hi, a cappuccino, please." This version drops the "can I get" part, but it still works. It's fast and natural. It's not rude because your tone of voice is friendly. Let's imagine a little dialogue. You say, "Hi, can I get a cappuccino, please?" The cashier might say, "Sure, what size would you like?" You can reply, a small one, please, or you could say, just a small, thanks. Notice that in real life, people often keep things short. Instead of full sentences, they use quick replies like just a small or medium, please. That's how real conversations happen. Other people might ask the same thing in different ways. Someone could say, can I have a cappuccino? Another person might say, I'll take a cappuccino. And sometimes people even say, let me get a cappuccino. These all mean the same thing, but the style changes. I'll take or let me get are very casual, things you hear when people are relaxed and comfortable. Now imagine you also want something to eat. Maybe you see a croissant in the display case. You can say, can I get a croissant too? Or, I'd like a croissant with that. Another option is, and a croissant, please. Each of these works. The first one, can I get a croissant? To FLs, very natural, like you're just adding something. The second, I'd like a croissant with that, is a little more formal, but still polite. The last one, and a croissant, please, is very short and easy. It sounds like something many native speakers would say. Let's try another little dialogue. You, hi, can I get a cappuccino, please, cashier? Of course. Anything else? You, yes, a croissant, please, cashier. Okay, would you like it warm? You, yes, please, simple, right? Notice how many times please appears. It's small, but it makes the whole conversation polite and friendly. Sometimes, instead of hi, you can start with hello, but in cafes, people often use hi because it feels more relaxed. You don't need to say, good morning, I would like to order a cappuccino. That sounds too long and too much like a textbook. In real life, short is better. Let's practice with another drink. Imagine you want tea. You can say, hi, can I get a tea, please? Or, could I have a tea? Or, a tea, please. Very short, very clear. If you want to be more specific, you can say, can I get a green tea, please? Or I'd like a black tea. Again, the choice depends on how relaxed you want to sound. The cashier might ask, for here or to go? This question means, are you staying in the cafe or are you taking the drink with you? If you are staying, you say, for here, please. If you are leaving, you say, to go, please. In some countries, they might say, take away instead of to go, so you can hear both. Another possible question is, what size? You can answer small, please, or medium, please, or large, please. Some people also say just a small or a medium one. These are short, everyday answers. Now imagine you don't hear the question clearly. Maybe the cafe is noisy, or you are nervous. You can say, sorry, or could you say that again? Both are polite and useful. Don't worry if you need to ask again. It happens to everyone. Sometimes, after you order, the cashier will ask your name. They do this so they can write it on the cup. They might say, can I get your name? Or what's your name? You can reply, it's Mary. Or, if you want to sound a little more polite, my name's Mary. When everything is ready, the cashier might say, here you go, or here's your cappuccino. You can answer, thanks, or thank you. If you want to be extra polite, you can say, thank you very much, but most people just say, thanks. It's short and friendly. So, in this cafe situation, you practiced many useful phrases. You learned how to order a drink and a snack in a natural way. You heard different alternatives, from can I get a cappuccino to I'll take a cappuccino or a cappuccino please. You also learned how to answer common questions like what size. or for here or to go. Remember, the important thing is not to sound perfect. The important thing is to sound natural and comfortable. Try to repeat the phrases quietly to yourself now. Imagine you are standing in the cafe, looking at the cashier and speaking with confidence. The more you practice, the easier it will feel the next time you go to a cafe in real life. Imagine it's early in the morning and you are going to work or school. You walk to the bus stop and there are other people waiting. This is another very common situation in daily life. Even if you don't usually take the bus, it's useful to know the phrases because they are simple and they help you sound natural in English. You are standing at the bus stop and you see someone next to you. Maybe you are not sure if this is the right place. In English, a very natural way to ask is, "Does the bus stop here?" This is short and clear. Another way is this the bus stop for the number 25? Or you could say, "Does the 25 stop here?" These are all things you might hear in real life. Notice how short the sentences are. In a classroom, you might learn, "Excuse me, could you please tell me if the number 25 bus stops at this bus stop?" But in reality, people keep it simple. "Does the 25 stop here?" is perfect. Other people might answer in different ways. Someone could say, "Yes, it does," or "Yeah, it stops here." Sometimes people are even shorter and just say, "Yes." You can also hear, "No, it doesn't. You need the next stop." Or maybe, "No, it stops over there." These replies are very common. Now imagine the bus arrives. You step on and greet the driver. Many people just say hi or good morning. You don't need to say a long sentence. A smile and a hi are enough. If you need to pay in cash, you can say, "One ticket, please." Or if you are in a city with cards or passes, you can just say, "A single ticket, please." Another way is, "Can I get a ticket, please?" Again, short, simple, natural. Sometimes the driver might ask, where, or "Where are you going?" In this case, you answer with the name of the place. For example, "Downtown, please," or "To the station, please." You don't need to make a long sentence like, "I would like to buy a ticket to the station." Just "To the station, please," is what most people say. Let's try a little dialogue. You, "Hi, one ticket to downtown, please." Driver, "Sure, that's $2. You, "Here you go." Driver, "Thank you, you, thanks." Very short, very natural. Other people might use different phrases. Instead of "Here you go," some people say, "Here's $2," or simply $2. Instead of "Thanks," you can say, "Thank you," or more casual, "Thanks a lot." Now, imagine you are on the bus and you are not sure when to get off. You can ask another passenger, "Does this bus go to the station?" Another way is this the bus to the station?" Or even shorter, "This goes to the station, right?" This last one sounds very casual and is often used in spoken English. The other person might answer, "Yes, it does," or "No, you need to change buses." If they say no, you can ask, "Where should I get off?" or "Which stop should I use?" These are natural, everyday questions. Let's imagine another short dialogue. You, "Does this bus go to the university, passenger?" "Yes, it does, but you need to change at the central station." You, "Oh, okay, thank you, passenger." "No problem," that little phrase. "No problem" is a very common way people reply when you thank them. Sometimes you might want to sit next to someone. A polite way to ask is this seat free? Or "Is anyone sitting here?" Both are good. The person might answer, no, it's free, or go ahead, or just, sure. Very short and friendly. When you are ready to get off the bus, you can say to the driver, can I get off here, please? In some cities, you press a button, but sometimes you still need to tell the driver. Another natural phrase is, next stop, please. That is very common. At the end, when you leave the bus, it's always nice to say, thank you, or thanks. Some people add, have a nice day. Drivers usually appreciate that. Now, think about how different this is from a textbook. In class, you might read something like, excuse me, driver, could you please tell me if this bus goes to the central station? But in real life, people keep it much shorter. Does this bus go to the station? Is natural and enough. That's why practicing these short, everyday phrases is so important. So, in this bus situation, you learned how to ask about the bus, how to buy a ticket, how to ask another passenger a question, and how to get off politely. You also saw how people answer in short, natural ways. Try repeating some of these now. Imagine you are waiting at the bus stop. Say quietly to yourself, does the 25 stop here? Or imagine you are on the bus and ask, is this seat free? The more you practice, the more comfortable it becomes. Now let's imagine another everyday situation. You are at a fast food restaurant. This is a place where English learners often feel nervous because everything happens quickly. But don't worry, the phrases are short and very simple, and once you practice them, they will feel natural. You walk in, and usually someone at the counter says, hi, can I help you? Or what can I get for you? These are very common. Sometimes they just say, next please. That's normal too. You don't need to answer with a long sentence. A natural reply is, hi, can I get a cheeseburger, please? Or, I'll have a cheeseburger, please. Another common way is, a cheeseburger, please. Very short. In a textbook, you might see something like, I would like to order 1 cheeseburger, please. That's not wrong, but in real life, people don't usually say it like that. Can I get a cheeseburger? Is friendlier and more natural. The cashier might ask, would you like fries with that? Or do you want fries? A simple answer is yes, please, or no, thanks. Some people add more, yes, a small fries, please, or no, just the burger. You don't need to make it complicated. Let's imagine a small dialogue. Cashier, hi, what can I get for you? You, hi, can I get a cheeseburger, please? Cashier, sure. Do you want fries with that? You, yes, a small fries, please. Cashier, okay. Anything to drink? You, a Coke, please. Cashier, great. That's $5. You, here you go. Cashier, thank you. You, thanks. Notice how short every phrase is. That's real English. Now, there are other ways to order. Instead of, can I get a cheeseburger? Some people say, could I have a cheeseburger? Or, I'll take a cheeseburger. All of them mean the same thing. Can I get is very popular in the US and sounds natural. When paying, you usually hear that's $5 or $5. Please, you can answer, here you go, or here's 5. Another way is just to give the money or the card and say nothing. That's normal too. If you are paying with a card, the cashier might say, you can tap your card, or insert your card, please. You can answer, okay, or just smile and do it. At the end, it's polite to say, thank you. And the cashier usually says, have a nice day or enjoy your meal. A good reply is, thanks, you too. Sometimes you might want to change your order a little. You could say, can I get that without onions? Or, no pickles, please? Another way is, could you leave out the onions? But again, no onions, please is the most natural. Short and clear. If you need more time, you can say, one moment, please, or I need a minute. The cashier might say, sure, take your time. In a busy place, they might just move to the next person and come back to you later. Now, let's practice another dialogue. You, hi, can I get a chicken sandwich, please? Cashier, sure, do you want the meal or just the sandwich? You, just the sandwich, please. Cashier, okay, anything to drink? You, no, thanks. Cashier, all right, that's $4. You, here you go. Cashier, thank you. You, thanks. Cashier, have a nice day. You too. All of these little exchanges are easy to practice. Try saying them quietly now. Imagine you are standing in line, and when it's your turn, say, hi, can I get a cheeseburger, please? Or a Coke, please. Simple, natural, and useful. The important thing is not to sound like a textbook if you say, excuse me, I would like to order a cheeseburger with no onions. If that's possible, it's correct English, but it sounds too formal for fast food. People expect short, direct phrases. So today, in this fast food situation, you learned how to order food, how to answer the cashier's questions, how to pay, and how to finish politely. You also saw the difference between formal textbook phrases and real everyday English. Try to practice by imagining different orders. Say, can I get a burger and fries? Then try, I'll have a chicken sandwich. Or a coffee, please. The more you repeat, the easier it gets. Imagine you walk into a small cafe on a quiet street. You hear soft music playing, people talking, and the smell of fresh coffee in the air. You stand in line, waiting for your turn. When it is your time, you look at the menu, but maybe you are not sure what to say. This is a very common moment when you are in another country, and sometimes it feels stressful. But it does not need to be. Let's practice how to order in a simple and natural way. The most common and friendly way is to say, hi, can I get a coffee, please? You can also say, hi, could I have a coffee? Or hi, I'd like a coffee, please. All three sound good. But the first one, can I get, is the most natural in everyday conversation. It is short, casual, and people use it all the time. Textbooks often show phrases like, I would like to order a coffee. That is correct, but it sounds too formal, like you are in a business meeting instead of a cafe. So, can I get is the one you will hear most often. The cashier might smile and say, sure, what size? And you can answer, a small one, please. Or, medium, please. If you want a big one, you can just say, large, please. Notice how short these answers are. You don't need full sentences, like, I would like a small coffee, please. That is correct. But most people just say the size and add please. Maybe you want something special. You can say, can I get a cappuccino, please? Or, I'll have a cappuccino. Or even, a cappuccino, please. All of these work. The difference is very small. Can I get is casual. I'll have is also casual, but sounds a little more like you made a decision. Just saying a cappuccino, please is the shortest way. Now imagine the cashier asks for here or to go. In British English, they often say eat in or take away. You can answer for here, please, or to go, please. If you are not sure, you can just repeat the last word, to go. Very simple. Sometimes the cashier might ask anything else. This is a very common phrase. You can answer, "No, that's all, thanks." Or, "That's it, thank you." If you do want something else, you can say, "Yes, and a sandwich, please." Or, "Yes, can I also get a cookie?" Again, very short, very natural. Now, picture a little dialogue. The cashier says, "Hi, how are you?" You answer, "Hi, I'm good, thanks. Can I get a cappuccino, please?" The cashier says, "Sure, what size?" You reply, "Medium, please." The cashier asks, "For here or to go?" You say, "To go, please." Then the cashier asks, "Anything else?" And you say, "No, that's all, thanks." That's it. Very natural. Sometimes you may not hear what they say. Maybe the cafe is noisy or the cashier speaks fast. Do not worry. You can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." These are polite and very common. People will understand and repeat. Another useful phrase is, "What do you recommend?" If you are not sure what to choose, this is friendly and natural. The cashier might say, "Our latte is very popular." And you can reply, "Okay, I'll try that, please." This makes the conversation feel easy and relaxed. As you listen now, imagine yourself in the cafe, repeating these phrases quietly. "Can I get a cappuccino, please?" "For here, please?" "No, that's all, thanks." Try saying them out loud if you can. The more you repeat, the more natural they will sound when you are really in this situation. So today we practiced how to order in a cafe. You learned "Can I get?" "Could I have?" and "I'd like." You learned short answers like "medium," "please," or "to go," "please." You also learned how to ask for repetition and how to ask for recommendations. All of these phrases help you sound natural and confident in English. Next time, we can move to another everyday situation, like shopping in a supermarket. Imagine you walk into a clothing store. There are shirts on the walls, jeans on the tables, and maybe some music playing in the background. You look around, but you are not sure how to ask for help in English. This is very common, and the good news is, the phrases you need are simple. The first one you can use is, "Excuse me, can you help me?" This is polite and natural. Another way is, "Excuse me, I'm looking for a jacket." Or you can just say, "Hi, do you have jackets?" Notice that all of these are short and easy to remember. Textbooks sometimes say things like, "I would like to inquire about purchasing a jacket." That is too formal. Nobody talks like that in a normal store. Just saying, "Do you have jackets?" is enough. The shop assistant might say, "Sure, what size?" And you can answer with something simple, "Small, please," or "Medium, please." You don't need to make a full sentence, just the size and "please." If you are not sure, you can say, "I'm not sure, can I try it on?" This is very common in a clothing store. Trying on clothes is important. To ask, you can say, "Can I try this on?" Or, "Is there a fitting room?" Both are natural. The assistant might say, "Yes, it's over there." Or, "Sure, follow me." Then you can go and check. Maybe the size is not right. You can say, "Do you have this in a larger size?" Or, "Do you have this in a smaller size?" Another easy phrase is, "Do you have this in medium?" You just change the word at the end. Sometimes you want a different color. You can say, "Do you have this in black?" Or, "Do you have this in blue?" Again, very short and easy. The assistant might answer, "Yes, we do." Or, "Sorry, only in white." Then you can decide. Let's make a little dialogue. You say, "Excuse me, can you help me?" The assistant says, "Sure, "What are you looking for?" You reply, "I'm looking for a jacket." The assistant asks, "What size?" You answer, "Medium, please." The assistant says, "You can try this one." And you say, "Thanks, can I try it on?" The assistant replies, "Of course, the fitting rooms are over there." This is exactly how a real conversation might sound. Now imagine you like the jacket and want to buy it. You can say, "I'll take it, please." Or, "Can I buy this, please?" Both are very natural. If you don't like it, you can say, "Sorry, I'll leave it." Or, "I don't think this works for me." That is polite and clear. When you go to pay, the cashier might ask, "Would you like a bag?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thanks." Very simple. They might also ask, "How would you like to pay?" You can answer, "By card, please," or "Cash, please." No need for long sentences. Sometimes you need to ask about the price. You can say, "How much is this?" Or, "Excuse me, what's the price?" Both are good. Avoid textbook sentences like, "Could you kindly tell me the cost of this item?" That is too long. Just "How much is this?" is perfect. As you listen, try to imagine yourself in the clothing store, holding a shirt or a pair of jeans and saying these phrases quietly. "Can I try this on? Do you have this in black? I'll take it, please." The more you practice, the easier it will be when you really need it. So in this block, you practiced common phrases for shopping in a clothing store. You learned how to ask for help, how to try things on, how to ask about size and color, how to decide if you want to buy or not, and how to pay. All of these phrases make shopping in English much easier. Imagine you walk into a clothing store. There are shirts, pants, and jackets everywhere, and maybe some music playing. You want to look around, but you also might need help. This is a very common situation, and it is perfect to practice short, natural English phrases. Imagine you walk into a clothing store. There are shirts, pants, and jackets everywhere, and maybe some music playing. You want to look around, but you also might need help. This is a very common situation, and it is perfect to practice short, natural English phrases. A textbook might give you something longer, like, "Excuse me, could you please provide me with medication for a headache?" That sounds polite, but not very natural in a busy pharmacy. So it is better to keep it simple. The pharmacist might answer, "Yes, we have painkillers. Do you want tablets or syrup?" Another person might say, "Sure, do you prefer pills or liquid?" Both mean the same, and you can just choose. You can answer, "Tablets, please," or "Pills, please." Notice how short and clear these answers are. You don't need to say a big sentence. Sometimes you need to explain more. You can say, "I have a sore throat," or "I need something for a cough." Another common phrase is, "Do you have anything for allergies?" These are very useful because they go straight to the point. A more formal version would be, "I am experiencing discomfort in my throat and require medication." But people don't really talk like this in real life. It is enough to say, "I have a sore throat." Now, imagine the pharmacist responds, "You can take this cough syrup. Take 2 spoons twice a day." Another person might say, "This medicine is for your throat. Use it in the morning and at night." Both are giving you instructions. To make sure you understand, you can say, "So, 2 times a day, right?" Or "Only in the morning and evening." This shows you are listening and checking. You might also need to ask about side effects. You can ask, "Does it make you sleepy?" or "Can I drive after taking this?" These are short but very important questions. A textbook might teach, "Could you inform me of possible adverse effects?" But this is not how people usually ask. In daily life, does it make you sleepy? Is the natural choice. Sometimes you also need to buy simple things like vitamins, Band-Aids, or hand sanitizer. You can ask, "Do you have vitamin C?" or "Where are the Band-Aids?" Another way is, "Can I get some hand sanitizer, please?" These questions are always short and clear. When you finish, the pharmacist will probably say, "Anything else?" Or "Is that all?" You can answer, "That's all, thank you," or "No, that's it." Both are polite and natural. Then you can say, "Thanks, have a nice day." And the pharmacist might say, "You too," or "Feel better soon." So, in this situation at the pharmacy, you learned how to ask for medicine in a simple way, how to describe your problem with short phrases, how to listen to instructions, and how to finish the conversation politely. The more you repeat these small phrases, the more natural they will sound when you need them in real life. Imagine you are shopping at the supermarket, and now you are ready to pay at the checkout. This is a very common situation, and the conversation is usually short. But there are many small expressions you can practice. If the cashier asks, "Did you find everything okay?" you can answer, "Yes, thank you," or if you didn't, you could say, "Actually, I couldn't find the rice," or "I didn't see the milk." This is polite and natural, and sometimes they can help you. A textbook might tell you to say, "I was unable to locate the product I was searching for," but that sounds too heavy. In real life, "I couldn't find the rice" is just right. Sometimes the cashier will ask, "Do you need a bag?" or "Would you like a bag?" Another way they say it is, "Do you want paper or plastic?" You can reply, "Yes, please," or "No, I brought my own." These little exchanges are important because they happen all the time. Another question they might ask is, "Do you have a loyalty card?" or "Do you have our rewards card?" If you do, you say, "Yes, here it is." If you don't, you can just say, "No, I don't," or "Not today." Again, keep it short. When it's time to pay, the cashier will often ask cash or card. Another version is, "How would you like to pay?" You can answer card, please, or cash. If you are using a card, the cashier might say, "You can tap or insert your card." Sometimes they say, "Enter your PIN." These are everyday phrases you hear again and again. After you pay, the cashier usually says, "Here's your receipt," or "Do you want your receipt?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." Both are perfectly natural. Then, the conversation usually ends with something friendly. The cashier might say, "Have a nice day," or "Take care." You can reply, "You too," or "Thanks, bye." So, in this supermarket checkout situation, you practiced greetings, small questions about bags or cards, how to answer about payment, and how to finish the conversation politely. Notice how short the phrases are. They are not complicated sentences, but they are the phrases people really use. Practicing them will help you sound natural and confident when you are at the store. Imagine you walk into a clothing store. There are shirts, pants, and jackets everywhere, and maybe some music playing. You want to look around, but you also might need help. This is a very common situation, and it is perfect to practice short, natural English phrases. The first thing you can say is, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Another way is, "Hi, I'm looking for a jacket," or "Do you have this in medium?" All of these are short and natural. In real life, people rarely say, I would like to inquire about the availability of a jacket in medium size, even though that is correct. It sounds formal and unusual. Short phrases are better. If you need a different size, you can ask, "Do you have this in large?" or "Can I try this on?" The shop assistant might respond, "Yes, the fitting rooms are over there," or "Here's a medium. You can try it." You can simply reply, "Thanks," or "Great, thanks." Notice how simple and short these sentences are. Sometimes you want a different color. You can say, "Do you have this in black?" or "Is this available in blue?" The assistant might answer, "Yes, we have it in black," or "Sorry, only in white." Both are very common and natural ways to talk. When you try clothes on, the assistant might ask, "Do you need another size?" or "Do you want me to bring another color?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." Very short and polite. If you decide to buy, you can say, "I'll take this please," or "Can I buy this?" The cashier might ask, "Do you want a bag?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thanks, I have one." Then the cashier will ask, "Cash or card?" And you reply with just "Card, please," or "Cash." After that, the conversation usually ends with "Have a nice day," and you can say, "Thanks, you too." Sometimes you might want to ask for recommendations. You can say, "What do you suggest?" or "Which one is popular?" The shop assistant might answer, "This jacket is very popular," or "Many people like this style." You can reply, "Okay, I'll try this one, please," or "Thanks, I like this color." Try to imagine yourself in the store, saying these phrases quietly. "Can I try this on? Do you have this in medium? I'll take this, please." These are short, simple, and exactly what people use in real situations. So, in this clothing store block, you practiced asking for help, checking sizes and colors, trying clothes on, deciding to buy, and finishing the conversation politely. All these phrases are useful for real-life shopping and will help you sound confident in English. Imagine you are at a bus stop or on the subway, waiting to go somewhere. You want to ask questions or make sure you understand everything, and this is a very common situation in daily life. Let's practice the phrases that will make it easier. When you want to ask where the bus goes, you can say, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" Another way is, "Hi, is this bus going downtown?" Or simply, "Does this bus go to Main Street?" These are short, natural, and friendly. A textbook might say, "Could you kindly inform me whether this bus travels to the city center?" That is correct, but very formal and unusual in daily life. Short phrases are easier to use and understand. Sometimes you need to ask about the next stop. You can say, "Excuse me, what's the next stop?" or "Which stop is next?" The driver or another passenger might say, "Next stop is Central Station," or "We are coming to Central Station now." You can just repeat it quietly to yourself. Central Station, next stop. This helps your listening skills. If you want to know when to get off, you can say, "Could you tell me when we reach Main Street?" or "Please let me know when we get to the library." People will usually respond quickly, and you can just nod or say, "Thanks." This is very natural. Sometimes you might need to ask for a ticket. You can say, "One ticket to the city center, please," or "A single ticket, please." Another version is, "Can I have a ticket to Main Street?" Very short, easy to remember, and exactly what people say. The ticket seller might ask, "Cash or card?" You answer with just, "Card, please," or "Cash." If the bus or subway is crowded, you can say, "Excuse me, is this seat taken, or can I sit here?" People usually answer, "No, it's free," or "Yes, sorry, short and simple. You don't need to say, I wonder whether this seat is available for me to use. That is too formal. Sometimes you might hear announcements and you don't understand everything. You can say to yourself, next stop Central Station, or quietly ask a nearby person, excuse me, did they say Central Station? This is very common and helps you not get lost. Let's imagine a short dialogue. You say, excuse me, does this bus go to Main Street? Another passenger says, yes, it does. Then you ask, which stop is next? And they answer, Central Station. You can say, thanks, and repeat quietly, Central Station, next stop. When you want a ticket, you say, one ticket to Main Street, please. The ticket seller asks, cash or card? You say, card, please. That's it. Simple and natural. So in this public transport block, you practiced asking for directions, checking stops, buying tickets, and finding a seat. All these phrases are short, friendly, and exactly what people say in daily life. Try repeating them quietly to yourself to get used to hearing and saying them naturally. Imagine you walk into a fast food restaurant. The smell of fries and burgers fills the air, and there are people in line in front of you. You want to order quickly, and you also want to sound natural in English. Let's practice the phrases you can use. The most common way to start is, hi, can I get a cheeseburger, please? Another natural way is, hi, I'd like a cheeseburger, or could I have a cheeseburger, please? All of these are short and friendly. Textbooks sometimes say, I would like to purchase a cheeseburger, which is correct but too formal. In a fast food restaurant, people usually use the shorter versions. If you want to add a drink, you can say, can I get a cola with that? Or I'd like a cola, please. Another way is, could I have a drink? The cashier might ask, small, medium, or large. You can answer with just medium, please, or large, please. Notice how simple and short these answers are. Sometimes they ask if you want fries or a combo. You can say, yes, fries, please, or no, just the burger. Another natural way is, I'll take the combo, or can I get the meal deal? These are all short and very common phrases. The cashier might ask, for here or to go? You can answer, for here, please, or to go, please. In British English, they might say, eat in or take away. You answer the same way. This small question comes up all the time. If you are not sure what to choose, you can ask, what do you recommend? Or which meal is popular? The cashier might say, the burger and fries combo is very popular, or most people like the chicken sandwich. Then you can reply, okay, I'll try that, please or thanks, I'll have that. Very natural. Sometimes you might want to clarify ingredients. You can ask, does this have cheese, or is it spicy? People will understand right away. You don't need to say, could you please inform me whether this item contains cheese or spices? That is too formal. Short questions are enough. When it's time to pay, the cashier might ask, cash or card? You can reply, card, please, or cash. After you pay, the cashier often says, here's your receipt, or have a nice meal. You can answer, thanks, or thank you. You too. Let's imagine a short dialogue. You say, hi, can I get a cheeseburger, please? The cashier says, sure. Do you want fries with that? You reply, yes, please, or no, thanks. They ask, for here or to go? You say, to go, please. They ask, cash or card? You answer, card, please. Then they say, here's your receipt, enjoy your meal. And you say, thanks. That's exactly how it happens in real life. So in this fast food block, you practiced ordering food, asking about drinks, choosing combos, clarifying ingredients, and paying. All these phrases are short, natural, and easy to remember. Imagine yourself repeating them quietly as if you are really at the counter. This will help you feel confident when you need them in real life. Now, today's topic is something I think is very important for all of you, especially for those of you who are moving from A to 2B1. We're going to talk about motivation and listening. I know these are two big topics for English learners. But don't worry, I'll explain everything clearly and give you tips that you can start using right away. Let's start with listening. How many of you have had trouble understanding English when you hear someone speak? Maybe you listen to a podcast or watch a movie and you don't understand what they're saying. Does that sound familiar? It's okay if it does. In fact, it's very common for students at your level. When you listen to English, especially when people speak quickly, it's normal to not understand everything. The good news is that you can improve your listening skills. Here's the key to improving listening. You need to practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Try to listen to English every day. At first, it might feel difficult. You might not understand much, but with time, you will get better and better. And let me tell you, you will understand more than you think, even now. One of the best ways to practice listening is by listening to real English, not just what you hear in textbooks. There are many ways to do this. You can listen to English songs, podcasts, YouTube videos, and even watch movies or TV shows in English. At first, try to use subtitles in your language, but later, switch them to English. This will help you connect the words you hear to the words you see. Another tip for listening: don't be afraid to repeat. If you don't understand something, go back and listen again. And listen to the same thing many times. Each time you listen, you'll hear new words or phrases that you didn't hear before. It's like a puzzle. The more pieces you add, the clearer the picture becomes. So repeat, repeat, and repeat again. Now, let's talk about motivation. Learning a new language is not easy. Sometimes you might feel tired or frustrated. You might think, I can't do this, or it's too hard. But listen, don't give up. You can do this. I want to remind you that every small step you take in learning English is progress. Even if it feels slow, you are improving. Think about it this way. Every time you listen to English, you're training your brain to understand the language. And each time you practice, you get closer to your goal. Let me ask you, why do you want to learn English? Is it for a job? Is it to travel? Maybe it's to watch movies in English without subtitles. Or perhaps it's because you want to talk to people from different countries. Whatever your reason is, hold on to that. Your motivation is your power. It will help you keep going even when things get difficult. So, think about your goal. What motivates you to study English? One important thing to remember is that you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to understand everything, and you don't need to speak perfectly. Mistakes are part of the process. If you make a mistake, don't worry. It's how we learn. The most important thing is that you keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you get. Let's talk a little more about listening practice. What are some good ways to practice listening every day? You can try listening to English podcasts or watching videos on YouTube. Find content that interests you. If you like music, listen to songs in English. If you like sports, watch videos about your favorite team in English. If you like cooking, try watching cooking videos in English. The more you enjoy what you're listening to, the easier it will be to stay motivated. Also, don't forget to listen to things at your level. If you listen to something that is too difficult, it can make you feel frustrated. So, find material that's just right for your level. Not too easy, but not too hard. This way, you can learn new words and improve your listening without feeling overwhelmed. Now, let's talk about staying motivated. Sometimes, when we don't see fast results, it can be easy to feel like giving up. But remember, learning a language is a long journey. It takes time, and that's okay. The important thing is that you don't stop. Think about how far you've come. You can understand some things in English now, right? You can read basic texts, you can introduce yourself, and you can have simple conversations. That's a big accomplishment, and the more you practice, the better you'll get. You're on the right track. You are improving every day, even if it doesn't feel like it all the time. I want to encourage you to keep going, even when it feels hard, even when you don't understand everything. Remember that you are learning, and every effort you make is taking you closer to your goal. Before we finish, here's a quick reminder. Listen to English every day, even if it's just a little bit. And keep your motivation strong. You can do this. And I am here to help you every step of the way. Watch this video first without subtitles, and don't worry if you don't understand everything. Then, turn on the subtitles in your language and learn the meaning of the words you didn't know. After that, watch it again without subtitles a few times until you don't need to translate to understand. And finally, listen and repeat with me using the same intonation to practice your speaking too. This channel aims to help beginners, especially Brazilian English language learners, advance their language skills. With just a few minutes a day, you'll see significant progress. With a variety of videos for various applications, you'll find everything in one place. Learn through videos with movie scenes, a dynamic and motivating way. Listening-based lessons, understand naturally and train your ear. Speaking practice, improve pronunciation, and speak with confidence. Useful phrases and everyday dialogues sound natural in conversations. Wow, you made it to the end of this listening practice. I hope you enjoyed it and that you could hear many words and phrases that are useful in everyday English. Now, take a moment and think about your progress. Can you remember some of the phrases we practiced today? Maybe you can try repeating them quietly to yourself and see how much easier it feels compared to the first time you heard them. Learning a language takes time, and every little step counts. You listened, you followed, and you practiced your ear for English. That's already a big achievement. Keep listening to this podcast again and again. Each time you listen, you'll notice new words, new expressions, and even small improvements in your understanding. If you liked this practice, don't forget to give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me create more content like this for you. And if you want, leave a comment below telling me which phrases you liked the most or which situation was your favorite today. I'd love to hear from you. Keep practicing, keep repeating, and be patient with yourself. Every time you listen and shadow these phrases, you are getting closer to speaking English naturally and confidently. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today.